Hello everyone, my name is Pinchal Prasad from SRTechnologies. I have 22 years of IT experience and having 10 years of experience in DevOps and various cloud providers like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, RT Cloud and others. Welcome to my new YouTube channel SRTechHub Official. I have started this channel to upload some free cloud courses like AWS, Azure and others from basic to advanced level. Also, I'll be uploading DevOps content and general topics about IT industry, mock interview videos, also placement assistant videos. Sometimes I will be sharing my experiences so that it will help you to choose right technology in right time, and it will help you to switch from one technology to other technology in right time. Also, I'll be uploading new technology trends. Coming to today's topic. In this today's video, I'm very happy to announce that I'm going to upload free Linux and shell scripting course for beginners. I have designed this course to be completed in 10 sessions. Each session I named as a day 1, day 2, day 3. In this video, I'm going to explain this course content and what are the topics you are going to learn as part of this course and others. Before starting today's session, please subscribe this channel to get more technical videos, and you will get more free cloud courses like AWS and others. Don't forget to share and like these videos so that it will reach a lot of learners who want to learn cloud courses with free of cost. It will help a lot of people actually. Now, coming to today's topic. The course name is Linux and Shell Scripting in Basic to Confidence. As I told you, I will not be covering advanced topics from Linux. Especially, I designed this course for the people who wants to learn DevOps and cloud technologies. In fact, this is very much useful for the people who wants to learn other technologies like Java, Python, and any technology. Nowadays, irrespective of the technology, everybody should have Linux basic knowledge, at least. Admin level of knowledge is not required for other techies, but basic knowledge is must, because most of the servers are in Linux only in any company. Without Linux basic knowledge, we cannot work on top of a Linux operating system. Even if you don't know Windows basics, still you can work on top of Windows operating system. But without Linux knowledge, you cannot work on top of Linux operating system. So that is the reason I am uploading this free Linux and shell scripting course. Fine. As I told you, I have designed this course to be completed in 10 sessions. Each session I named as a day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 till day 10. If I get more requests, I'm happy to extend this course also. Now, see here, course content. In this course, I'm going to explain what is an operating system and what is Linux. What is an operating system means? So, without operating system, can we work with hardware or not? Hardware means servers. And what are the advantages of Linux? Because everybody knows, everybody started using a Windows operating system from beginning. But now why should we learn Linux operating system? And what are the differences between Windows and Linux operating systems? And why should we learn Linux and Linux architecture? Also, Linux basic commands. This is very, very important. So this is my main target. My main target is to teach Linux basic commands to everybody. And also, everybody should know how Linux commands will work in background mode. And I will try to cover all these things. Linux file system, this is also very important. And working with Linux files and shell scripting basics, I will cover. So please watch each and every video from starting to ending. Also, please practice by watching these videos so that you will get basic knowledge in Linux and shell scripting. It will help you to learn advanced topics also. So this course is useful for everybody. Please don't ignore this course. This is very much useful for everybody. Yeah, now we see what is Linux. Yes, everybody knows Linux is an operating system. What is operating system? What is operating system? This. As I promised you, any topic having start from scratch. That means I will cover from basic level. I think most of the people know what is operating system, what it does in a laptop or any server or any hardware. But please don't feel bored until I complete these basic topics. It will be completed in a few minutes. Yeah. So if you want to understand what is operating system and what are the differences between Windows and Linux operating system, what I will do, I will take a laptop and server as an example. Then I will explain. Fine. Now, let us take a laptop as an example. Yeah. So this is the laptop. What will be there inside the laptop? Hardware will be there. Hardware means one hard disk, something like a 500 GB hard disk. And RAM, something 12 GB, 16 GB RAMs. And keyboard and motherboard, the other hardware will be there. Fine. Now, this is the laptop. Fine. If you want to use this laptop, what you have to do? You cannot work with this hardware directly. Nowadays, when you purchase the laptop, that operating systems will be there by default. But previously, I think some 5-6 years ago, when you purchase the laptop or desktop, you wanted to install operating system separately. But before installing operating system, you cannot do anything with this. So for example, so you are here. So you are the user. If you want to use this hardware, that means laptop, what you have to do? You cannot communicate with this. So first of all, you cannot communicate with this hardware because your language is English. You will communicate with in your understandable language. That is English language. English language. Your machine will not understand, your hardware will not understand English language. Hardware means this, see, without operating system, your laptop and your washing machine or anything is same because that also hardware is also hardware. But what we will do, a laptop or a desktop or server, usually we will just do the compute, we will just use laptop or desktop for compute purpose and to store some data of this. Now, somebody should be there to translate your English language into mission understandable language because this is the mission. This is the mission. It will understand only mission understandable language. Mission language. So what is that mission language? 1001 binary armies. Fine. So somebody should be there to translate this human understandable language into mission understandable language. That someone is operating system. That someone is operating system. Operating system can be anything. It can be Windows or it can be Linux or anything. So just assume that usually we will use Windows operating system in a laptop or desktops. So 95% of the people will use Windows operating system in their laptops. Right. Now, what this Windows operating system will do, any operating system. 1 second, let me, this is the operating system. Let us assume that we install operating system on top of this hardware. Now, this Windows operating system will translate this human understandable language into machine understandable language. Then this hardware will understand. Fine. Now, if you take a server as an example, we will see. This is the laptop. Fine. So this is the major role of operating system. So there are other roles also. We'll see one by one. Now, so this is the server. Actually, 1 second. Yeah.
server. This is the server.
So what will be there in the server? Same. Hardware will be there. Some
3000 GB and some 100 GB RAM, like this. Because, see, both are same. Purpose is same, but capacity is different. That means high configuration will be there in servers. In servers, high configuration hardware will be. Fine. This is the server.
This is a server. So again, without operating system, you cannot communicate with this hardware. You cannot communicate with this server.
Now, let us assume that we will use Linux operating system here.
Why Linux operating system? Why can't we use Windows operating system? We can use Windows operating system also, but there are some differences. Usually, we will use Linux operating system in a real-life projects in servers. For example, if you have 2000 servers in your project, 1500 servers
are having Linux operating system, and 500 servers are having Windows operating system. Windows OS, Linux OS. Even based on the application behavior, you can use other operating systems also. So that means Unix and Solaris, and that also you can just use.
I'm just taking only Windows or Linux as an example. Fine. Here, we'll see what are the differences between Windows and Linux operating system. Now you know what is the major difference between laptop and server. Laptop will be used by you only. If you give to your friend or your colleague, then it will be easy. So nobody else can use the laptop when you are using. That means multiple users cannot use same time. But multiple users will be using these servers. Servers can be used by multiple users. That means in your project, there are other teams also. The development team, dev team will be there, and testing team will be there, and a DevOps team will be there. A lot of teams will be there. Again, everybody will be using this server. Multiple servers will be there. Yeah, testing team and DevOps team. That means multiple users are using at same time. And purpose also different. Development team will be storing their code. Just assume that. Now, multiple users will be using, and the development team will be using this server to write their code or store their code, and testing team will be using this server to test that code, and DevOps teams will be using this server to automate that process. Something. Just assume that. Don't think much about this. Now, that means multitasking. Multiple tasks will be going on in this servers most of the times. Fine. So that means servers will be used by multiple users for multiple tasks. Linux will support this multi-user and multitasking activities. It doesn't mean that Windows will not support. Windows also will support, but compare with Windows, Linux performance is good. So that is the reason most of the servers are Linux servers in real-life projects. Fine. But one more difference is, if you want to work with Linux operating system, you should have a basic Linux knowledge. Then only you can work on top of Linux operating system. But if you don't have any basic knowledge of Windows, even still you can work on top of Windows operating system, on top of Windows server. So that is the difference. That is the reason everybody should have a basic Linux skills. Yeah. Now, and what else? This is the paid. This is the paid service. This is the paid service. That service. This is a paid OS operating system, but this is open source. Linux is open source. Open source means anybody can download and use. Right. Now, here, Linux operating system will give
high security compared with Windows. That also. So I'm not going in depth on the differences between Windows and Linux. So by practice, you will come to know. And one more thing you should remember that when you are working with Linux operating system, you will be using commands for all.
You will be using commands. For every operation
should be done by commands. But in Windows operating system, you will not use commands. It's the GUI-based operating system. This is GUI-based tool, GUI-based operating system.
Right. Now, I will show you that also.
Here, whenever there is a update, updates, Windows is a
Microsoft product. This is a Microsoft product. Trust me, Microsoft is getting more than 50% of the revenue
by selling this Windows operating system. Yeah, because everybody, so most of the 95% of the people are using Windows operating system for their laptops and desktops.
Even servers also there, Windows servers.
And here, whenever there is updates, Windows will be, Microsoft will be releasing the versions. So now I think Windows 11 is there. Before that, Windows 10 is there and Windows 8 was there. Something like this. But here, this is the open source. But how can we get these upgrades? If you want to understand this, if you want to understand all these things, you should know something about Linux. That means you should know some history about this Linux. How Linux was developed and all these things. So how Linux was developed? Now, there are some guys like Linus Torvalds. What this guy has done, just he has discovered one component, and that is kernel. Kernel is one of the main components in operating system, Linux operating system. At very first, he just installed the Linux on top of this hardware. There's a kernel, and
with help of this kernel, he communicated this hardware. That means instead of complete operating system, he just used this kernel. And now, but we cannot use kernel directly. So no one can use. So he used the export, and then he just discovered. That is the reason. Then this is not possible for normal users. It's not user friendly. That is the reason some companies came and they just developed their own operating system. Like, what are those companies? Now, Ubuntu, Azure, and they just developed their own operating system by using this kernel. That is called Ubuntu Linux. And Red Hat is the company. Red Hat has developed their own operating system with same kernel, Linux. How did Linux came? Linux came from his name. This is not Linus Torvalds, Linus Torvalds. Yeah. Now, again, CentOS Linux, Amazon Linux, SUSE Linux. So there are a lot of flavors or distributions. This we'll call as a Linux distributions or flavors. Fine. So this is not a Linux actually. This is the Linux. Yeah. Left. From his first name, they just named as a Linux. Fine. So here, do we need to learn all these flavors? You may get at this doubt. Do you need to learn all these flavors? No, not required. If you learn one flavor of Linux, one Linux distribution, you can directly work with other Linux distributions. So how come? Commands are same. How commands are same?
Why commands are same? We'll see. Now, all these distributions are using same kernel. That is the reason. But only very, very few commands are different. For example, whenever you want to install the softwares, so then that command will be changing. So don't worry about that. I will clearly explain in the practical sessions. in future sessions. So what are those commands? So don't worry. Just try to understand this concept. That's it. I'm going very slow because, so first of all, my target is to make humanity people understand this. So that is the reason I'm going very slow. Don't worry. Yeah. Now, so usually we will use Ubuntu Linux for our practice, for our learning. Why we will use Ubuntu and why can't we use Red Hat Linux?
Here, if sometime back we just discussed that out of 2000 servers, 1500 servers are Linux in any real-time projects. Fine. That ratio I'm just checking.
In this 1500 servers, again, most of the servers are Linux Red Hat servers will be there. Mostly companies will use the Red Hat Linux servers. So very few Ubuntu servers will be there. Why?
Ubuntu is completely free. It's a completely open source. No need to pay anything.
But Red Hat is not a free. Red Hat is a paid. Even though Linux is an open source operating system, but Red Hat Linux is paid distribution, paid operating system. Why? Because performance is same. You can just, the performance is same in Ubuntu and Red Hat and CentOS and Amazon Linux and everything. Because Red Hat will give a support. Red Hat company will give a support. If you purchase this Red Hat Linux, they will give support. Ubuntu will not support. So that's the reason it's a free. It's a completely open source. But in our real life projects, if you get any issue in a Linux operating system, and that means OS related issue, if you get, your team will get. What to do? So for every project, Linux team will be there, Windows team will be there. Linux team will be taking care about Linux servers, Windows team is taking care about Windows servers. If a developer or DevOps engineer or test engineer or anybody gets any OS related issue, so they could just escalate to OS team, Linux team. They will work on it. They will troubleshoot. They will try to fix the issue. But if that issue is not in their scope, so what they have to do? They need external support. If they use Ubuntu Linux, they will not get. Due to this OS issue, if you don't fix this OS issue at earliest, it may affect on your application. Your application may go down. If your application may become slow. So due to that, you may get the business outage. So to avoid such kind of things, you should not take a risk. That is the reason companies may use Red Hat Linux. But if you learn Ubuntu Linux, directly you can work with the Red Hat Linux. Don't worry. But if few commands are different, I will show that commands also. Right. And now I will show you the difference between Windows and Linux practically. If you want to create any folder, for example, I want to create SRTech folder in Windows. That means in your laptop, how you will do, I will show you. Everybody knows. Yeah. Now let me just, yes, this is my Windows laptop. You will just right click on it and you will just select and folder. Here, new folder that created, one folder that created. It is very simple. To create this folder, do you need to learn Windows? No, not required. Now, if you want, you can just rename it. Just right click again and select this rename and now give whatever name you want. SRTech. Yes. If you want to copy this, you just right click on it. You can copy and paste wherever you want. If you want to cut and paste, you can do that. If you want to open, you can just click on this open option. Otherwise, you can just double click and open it. To do this, do you need to learn Windows operating system, Windows skills? No, not required. But if you want to do the same activities, if you want to create a folder and rename and to copy in Linux servers, you should know the Linux. Yeah. Here, you should use the commands. Command means cd. mkdir is the command. Mkdir SR. Yeah. What is mkdir? Mk means make, dir, directory. Directory or folder, what I say. So this one. Don't worry, I will show you practically after this theory part. Yeah. And if you want to rename, again, you have to use commands. For each and everything, you have to use commands. So Linux is a command-based operating system. So there is a command prompt. In that command, from that command prompt, you have to use. Fine. In our training sessions, that means in our practice sessions, we will be using Ubuntu Linux flavor. Fine. Now, how to practice this? I will show you. I will show you how to practice it. Yeah, there is two options. One is from your laptop. This is your laptop. This is your Windows laptop or Mac OS. Mac OS means you can just directly use terminal. Now, any doubt, please contact me. If you can just comment, you can drop your doubts in the comment section. I will write. This is a Windows operating system. Just assume that you have some 120 GB in hard disk and this one 8 GB RAM in your laptop. What we can do, you can just bifurcate this laptop. You can bifurcate. That means you can just create one more Linux mission here. For this Linux mission, also you can use same hardware. That means bifurcation means you can just distribute this hardware. Who will distribute? Oracle VirtualBox will be there. By using Oracle VirtualBox, you can bifurcate. So this is Oracle VirtualBox. There are other tools also. By using this, you can test this. So minimum you should give 2 GB RAM. You should allocate 2 GB RAM. And 20 GB you can just use. So there are some disadvantages also. If you use 2 GB, if you allocate to this Linux, it may become slow again in future. You can just allocate 4 GB. If you allocate 4, then again your Windows laptop will become. So better you just extend this RAM to 12 GB. And you can allocate 4 GB here and rest 8 GB will be here. So that as per your convenience, you can just do that. So instead of doing this process, there is another method also. Instead of bifurcating your laptop, instead of reserving your laptop, you can just go with the cloud. Cloud means AWS, Azure or something. So for time, so now I'm just giving you, now I'm just using AWS cloud. So it's very easy for you. Just create one server, Ubuntu server in AWS cloud, and you can practice your Linux sessions in that. How to create server in AWS? How to create server in AWS cloud? So if you don't have a basic knowledge about AWS, you just watch my videos. I clearly explained how to create a free tier account on AWS. Free tier account in AWS, and I told you clearly how to create virtual server in AWS. Here we will call virtual server as a EC2. Yeah. Even after this theory part, I will show you how to create this EC2 instance. That means virtual server, Linux virtual server. If you have a clear, if you want to learn in detail, you just go to my YouTube channel. Here only you can just go to free AWS course. In the free AWS course, we go through this day 1 video, day 4 EC2 video. Fine. And day 1 video, I explained clearly how to create a free tier account. Day 1. Fine. And here you can just create EC2 instance from Ubuntu image, and you can practice your Linux sessions. Yep. So let us see how to create a EC2 instance and how to practice it. Better go with this method because nowadays everybody should have a cloud skills, cloud knowledge. Please go through these videos, and if you have any doubt, please drop in the comment section. I will reply to you personally. Okay, yeah. Let us see how to create EC2 and how to practice it. Yeah, now I will show you how to create. Yeah, this is my AWS screen. It just nothing. I've clearly showed in that video how to create a free tier account and how to log in also. Now I will show you how to log in again. So click on this sign in. And yeah, here select this root user. Here, you will root user ID. Yes. Next, and password, you got password. Skip for now. I give. Yeah. So this is my AWS console. This is my AWS console. Just go here and just type EC2. EC2 means virtual server. We'll call as a EC2 in AWS for a virtual server. Elastic Compute Cloud. See here. Yeah, this is the virtual server. Now this is EC2 dashboard. Now launch instance. Click on this launch instance, which is in orange color. And now given me, I will give name as a Linux server. It's a very easy Linux server. Okay, fine. Now I will give Linux iPhone server. Yeah. So next step, see here, application and OS images. OS means operating system images. Which operating system you want in this server, in this EC2. See, Amazon Linux, Mac OS, Ubuntu, Windows, Red Hat. Now you know Red Hat, what is Ubuntu and what is Amazon Linux. And even Windows also you can just take it. And now I will select this Ubuntu. Why we will use Ubuntu, I will explain you. Yeah, select Ubuntu operating system. Yeah, when you are. So next is instance type. So you should be very careful here. T3 micro or T2 micro, you just select here. Yeah, you please watch EC2 video. I'm not explaining anything here. And select key pair. This also, everything I explained in EC2 video, please watch. Then it will be easy for you to create EC2s and practice. And click on this launch instance, which is in orange color. Yeah, now. Yes, see it, instances, click on these instances. It will take you to this screen. Yeah, Linux server. I may have some Git server and sample something. Select this Linux server. Make sure it's running. Yeah, initializing. I'm not going to explain all these options because already I explained in EC2 video. That is a day 4 video in the AWS course. You just go and watch. Just click on connect. And again, click on this connect. And now, yeah, this is the Linux server. See, here's Linux server. There are 2 IP addresses for every EC2 instance. One is public IP, private IP. That also I explained in that EC2 video. Yeah, Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the username. Now, just clear this field, CLE here. As I told you, for each and every operation, you should use commands. Clear CLE here. This is also one command to clear the screen. Clear is the Linux command to clear the screen. Fine. Now it's cleared. Ubuntu is the username. If you want to log in, if you want to connect any server, you should have a user ID. So since we're new to this server, since this is a brand new server, so Ubuntu will give one user ID to work with this server, to connect with this server. So that username is Ubuntu user. Ubuntu is a normal user.
What is normal user? Normal user is having limited access. There are two types of users, normal user and admin user or root user or something. So root user will be having complete access. Don't worry, I will be explaining user that user management also. Don't worry, in that user management concept, I will explain about this normal users, root users, how to switch from one user to other user, how to create a users and permissions and all those things. Don't worry now. Yeah, now Ubuntu IP address. This is the IP address of the server. Public IP and private IP. Two types of IP addresses will be provided for every EC2 instance. Since we are connecting this EC2 instance within the cloud, it will use private IP address. See here, 2831. Don't worry about these things. Again, I'm telling you, I explained in EC2 video. Okay, now ls also is one command. Ls is the command to list the folders and files. So there is no folder and files here. This is the new server. ls means list. It will display all the files and folders. Folders means directories. Now I will create one directory. I have told you that mkdir is the command to create directory means folder name. SRTech. Enter. Now give ls SRTech. See here. So now you have seen very clearly the difference between Windows and Linux operating system. In Windows, we can right click and we can create the folder. Here, you have to use this command. Fine. So how to go inside this folder now? CD means change directory. SRTech. Now, yeah. If you want to go inside the folder, if you want to open the folder in Windows, you can double click or you can right click and select that open option. But here, you have to use this command. CD is change directory. Now, whatever you want, you can just do it. Now, if we want to know where you are in, pwd is the command. Pwd means present working directory. See here, I'm inside this. So what is this home Ubuntu? That is a home directory of the user. Every user will be having his own home directory. Don't worry, I will explain this home directories and everything. In this particular video, in this today's video, you just try to understand how to create a folder in a Linux operating system. Yeah. Now, so enter a came back clearly here again. So this is also one command. Now we will see how these commands will work in background mode. If you want to understand that, you should know the architecture, you should understand the architecture of Linux operating system. Let me just explain that architecture. Yeah, no video. For example, yep. This is the hardware. Let me just draw first and I will explain you. This is one layer and this is another layer and this is another layer. We see what is that. Here, terminal, and I will explain, don't worry. And shell, and this is user commands. For example, mkdir. So this user commands and applications and whatever. mkdir we give here. Just now apps, so whatever applications. I don't want to just you. Right now, this is the hardware. Just assume that this is the firewall. We just install Linux operating system. So these are the layers of Linux operating system. Just assume that. So first layer is kernel.
we just discussed about the kernel. And second, shell. What is a shell? Shell, bash shell, C shell, K shell, like this. And here, this is the one. So you are here. You are the user. User is here. So just sometime back, what I give this mkdir command. Mkdir SRTech I give. That means I asked my server to create this SRTech. This, give me one second. Yep, that's okay. I give mkdir SRTech. Fine. So when I gave this mkdir SRTech command in English language, this shell has translated my English language into machine understandable language, and it gave to kernel. Because kernel will not understand this English language. Then kernel understood that user is asking to create SRTech folder. Then immediately what kernel did? Kernel has allocated some space from this hardware, from that EC2 instance for this folder. So here is allocated some space. So in simple way, so this is what happened when I gave this mkdir SRTech command in my EC2 instance. So this is called Linux architecture. As I told you, I'm not going in depth here. You no need to go in depth. You are not going to become a Linux admin. You want to learn Linux admin level knowledge, if you want to get Linux admin level skills, you should learn Linux for 6 months minimum. Okay? Now we don't want, no need to learn Linux admin level knowledge. Okay, fine. Now we are learning Linux basics. That's it. Fine. Linux architecture. This is Linux architecture. Fine. That shell can be anything. Bash shell. Usually we will use bash shell. Don't worry. I will be showing each and everything practically, and I will be explaining you. Just here, exit. Once you complete your practice, just exit. So see here, log out. It will be logging out, and yeah, it will be logged out. Go to this dashboard and make sure this is not selected, and just stop this. Otherwise, so unnecessary. Why should we leave this server in running state? Stop instance. That's it. From this. Oh, so this is the way to learn Linux. Yeah. So this is a very basic command, and yeah, in next video we will see some other commands, Linux commands, how it will work, and how to create a folder, how to create the files, and how to work with files, how to change the permissions, and all those things. Don't worry, we will cover enough stuff. Okay. Yeah, yes. Please don't forget to subscribe this channel so that you will be getting notifications whenever I upload videos, new video. And also please share and like this video so that it will reach a lot of people who wants to learn these courses with free of cost. In fact, it will help a lot of people. Thank you, guys. And I will be uploading day 2 video tomorrow. Please watch. If you have any doubts, please drop in the comment section. I will reply to you personally. Thank you so much.